Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Saturday morning, so you know it's time for another live edition of the Extra Point. We got the hit makers in the house today, Mr. Michigan Michael Hasso in his Sunday best vest, and we got
Yeah,
Tasha
yeah.
Sizzle coming in live from the Dominican Republic. How goes it today, guy and gal?
It
It
goes
goes
well. I've
great.
done more before this show started than you can ever imagine.
Like the Army commercials, we've done more before 5 a.m. than most people do all day. All
And
right,
that
I
I
got
have
you. All
today.
right, we gotta get this thing rolling, y'all. I got a ton of questions, and there's no two people on earth I'd rather ask these sports questions to than the two that are sitting right here alongside me today. So we're gonna get right to that after a word from our sponsor.
We are sponsored by May Jane's Coffee. That's MAEJANES coffee.com. You can get your Colombian and your whiskey blend coffee freshly ground and mailed to you by my lovely daughter, Sasha Denise. Again, we continue to thank you for your support for those of you who have and continue to purchase her coffee. Again, that is May Jane's Coffee, MAEJANES coffee.com.
Right on, and this show is also brought to you by.
Wolverine Comics, Wolverine underscore Comics TX. We buy, sell, and trade all things comics. It's about getting towards that year for the holidays. So
Yes,
got some new stuff in here. So go ahead and send me your Christmas list and I'll see what we could do.
and ho. Make sure you get that Christmas combo, the May James Coffee and Wolverine Comics. Put that on your Christmas list. Now, let's just get right to it, y'all. The college football playoff rankings came out on Monday. And damn it, I got a ton of questions that I'm going to come to you first, Mike, Mr. Suited
All
and
right.
Booted. Give me your initial thoughts. First of all, before we do that, let me just back up. The college football rankings are as follows. We'll go through the top seven. Number one, the University of Tennessee. Number two, Ohio State. Number three, Georgia. Number four, Clemson. Number five, Michigan. Pause. Number six, Alabama. Number seven, TCU. Now, Tasha has a grin on her face that I can't wait to find out why, but we'll start with you, Mike. Your thoughts on the committee's initial ranking?
Initial rankings. I mean, you already know what my initial ranking was. The disrespect that Michigan keeps getting throughout the years. And then after the initial response, I would say TCU, being surprised that there's a lot on the top 25 in general, a lot of teams that are just boo-boo, I would say, overall. And then after you just zoom out a little bit and look at everything and you see Clemson, you're like, oh, I see what they're doing. One,
What are they doing, Mike?
they're not watching any of the games, and they're trying to push ACC teams or the other conferences up. And so they're trying to make everyone like at least have hope. And that's what it looks like.
You know what, Mike? You read my mind with something that's coming up a little later in the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, earmark that what he just said. We're going to come circle back to that when we get into the preview of today's games. Tasha, what are your thoughts about Michigan as you are the queen of R&B soul, all things Ann Arbor? What are your thoughts about Michigan coming in at number five? You have a problem with that?
I do, again, because I do not like Clemson. Clemson, look, I said it, we should be number four. I've always said that. We should be number four. Clemson does not need to be ranked amongst the rest of them. Now, to Mike's point about they're not watching football, yeah, they are. They're watching SEC football, and you can tell.
No,
Because
they're not.
Alabama is at 6. Yes, they are. What? Tell me why they're not. If they're not watching,
All right.
if
So
they're not,
last weekend's games, you go for the top viewership. Number one, Big Ten game, Penn State
it
versus
does not.
Ohio State.
It does not
Number
matter
two,
about
Florida and
who.
Georgia.
It doesn't matter
Number two,
about
Florida and
us.
Georgia.
It matters about the
Three,
committee. The
Michigan
committee
State
is
versus
not.
Michigan.
You're talking about people. We're talking about the committee. The committee is what matters when it comes to the rankings. The committee is not watching that. The committee does not
Oh
care
yeah,
about
it's obvious that they're not watching any. That's the point. They're not
they're
watching
watching
anybody.
because the committee is watching the SEC. If
But
they
is
were
that a
not
good
watching,
thing, Tasha?
if they were not watching the SEC, Alabama would not be ranked 6. How in the hell is Alabama 6? Because
I don't think they're watching
Alabama's
any.
to win this year.
I don't think they're watching any. I think they're going off of past or else they wouldn't put Clemson up there. They're looking at the past. There are a whole bunch of old guys in here. They're like, oh yeah, this is a good team.
They looked at Clemson beat NC State. They looked at Clemson beat Wake Forest, and they looked at Clemson beat Syracuse. All of them have dropped. Clemson should not,
right?
But which I did. But they're all ranked teams. Michigan's schedule is terrible. The only reason why we still continue to talk about Michigan at this point, even though we had that momentous victory over the FIs last year, is because of the FIs. And it is because of Harbaugh and his antics. They talk more about Tunnel Gate than they did about the game.
No, that did happen.
Who did Ohio beat, though? That's what I'm saying. Is like, who did Ohio beat?
Michigan has to start for us to get to be relevant again outside of who we play. Michigan has to keep winning like they did back in the 90s when we were all just like, oh my God, oh my God. That's what Michigan has to get to for us to get that level of respect, because we're not going to get it as long as they're not talking about Michigan football outside of what Harbaugh does and us playing the FIs.
Okay, Mike, let me come to you because she brought up a good point about the non-conference schedule, which was really weak. I mean, two of their three non-conference opponents, Vegas didn't even book a line for, which is something that's really odd. I thought was really odd. And DraftKings didn't allow you to play Michigan players those weeks either. But Michigan destroyed those teams in a fashion in which you would think a top 5 school would destroy an inferior opponent. It wasn't like they squeaked by. Mike, should they get any credit for the style points in which they played those inferior opponents?
See, that's why I said Michigan can't really win. Because if you look at 10 years ago or even past 5 years ago, Michigan had a decent non-conference schedule, but we never were rewarded from that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we were never rewarded because it's like we had a fight and you saw Lloyd Carr be like, no, we should be ahead. Or actually he didn't. That's the reason why we weren't.
Right.
And then Florida got the spot. But I mean, back then we had a great schedule, but we still didn't get the spot. So I mean, you can't win or lose on this one when you're Michigan. I mean, they try to follow suit from SEC from, a couple of years ago or now. Some would even argue. You can't. I mean, look at Clemson's, what they had: Georgia Tech, Furman, and Law Tech. Like, come on.
Right.
But what Mike said about Florida, remember back in those days, Florida was old ball coach was running that score up because he knew that's what he had to do. Yeah. Michigan, we start so slow. Oh my God.
We did last Saturday as well.
That is our problem. Even though we have a weak non-conference schedule, a weak schedule in general, if we could start off just railing them and beating teams by 20, 30 points, I don't think it would be a question.
It is, because you got Ohio. Who did Ohio beat? I mean, besides Notre Dame, in which I say Notre Dame is trash anyways.
That was the most fraudulent 5th ranked team in the history of the rankings.
Exactly. And they got, equal matchups, Penn State, right? They allowed Penn State 30 points. That's crazy. Like, so your point, like, if Ohio, they definitely start out fast, but they also allow a lot of points too. In my opinion,
it's one main reason.
Overall, Michigan's better than Ohio.
It's one main reason.
I agree.
Because they have a Heisman Trophy candidate playing. So the committee has to have him seen. They have to make that
of Michigan
importance. We don't have a Heisman Trophy candidate that people are mentioning.
You know what? I'm wondering, you two have really peeled back something for me that I didn't think about earlier, because Blake Corum, by the numbers, running back for Michigan, should be in New York at the end of the year.
Yes.
But running back is not a sexy topic in today's college football.
It's all about the quarterback, and we don't have that quarterback. Like, I mean, I've heard like when we watch the games, I've heard those commentators say Heisman, but the sports talk shows are not saying Blake Corum Heisman. When they say something about Ohio State, C.J. Stroud, Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah, they just have Stroud and Hendon Hooker as the two odds-on favorites right now. Two quarterbacks.
That a lot of that plays into fact. That's why I keep trying to tell Mike, it doesn't matter what we as fans watch. I don't give a damn if 1 million people watched Rutgers and Vatech. If the voters, the people who basically what we say opinion matters, they're not watching that. They don't care. That is why Michigan is ranked where they are, and we don't. It's exciting football to us. We love Michigan. We love what we are seeing because we have lived the Rich Rods, the Brady Hopes, the Harbaughs in the first few years. We lived that. So anytime we're winning, we don't give a damn what the score is. We're winning. Michigan is in it. They're not looking at that. They're looking at the FIs have been winning. Tennessee just came out of nowhere, bringing all of this. I mean, hell, Hendon Hooker is 39 years old.
He was 137 years old at the Alabama game.
Right.
So, older than half the NFL.
Right. Transferred from Virginia Tech, so they have things that are making people watch them. Michigan is not having anything that the Post, we've seen this before. We're just going to wait for them. If they beat the FIs, then we'll give them their credit. That's what it is with us now. It has only come down to, from them, it's whether or not we beat the FIs. And so that's why we are ranked where we are.
Now, Mike, let me come to you with Alabama, because with Michigan, I think at the end of the day, we know what it is. We go up to the horseshoe, we handle business again. We're going to be in the football playoff because I don't see anybody in the Big Ten West that's going to do anything with Michigan in a Big Ten title game. But let's look at Alabama for a second. 6th, somebody please, and I mean within a matter of seconds, give me their quality going to win this year. Any takers? Any?
No. That's why it's sad, because all they have to do is win. They have to win one more game to be in the SEC championship game, which even if they lose another game, they're not going to have the SEC champion out of the playoffs. Like, let's be real. So it's like they still have 2 more chances.
So with that being the case, Tasha, let me ask you this. Do you think TCU right now, who's ranked number 7, they're 8-0. They've got 4 top 25 wins and another potential top 25 game on the docket next week against Texas. Do you think they could be this year's Cincinnati if they run the table?
Because they're already talking about the what ifs with 3 SEC teams. Plus
they are
in the top 4. They're not even thinking. They're trying to make it so that it is Georgia, Tennessee, the FIs, and Alabama.
Really, the 4 Heisman candidates, really, is what you're saying.
That is what they are pushing. So TCU could go out here, win the Big 12, do everything, and be ranked number 5.
You agree, Mike? That would be you, Michael Hasso.
Oh, what'd you say? Sorry, I'm buffering over here.
Oh, no, I said, do you agree?
I agree that, one, they shouldn't be in there, and I go back to the fact with the committee of saying, like, all of this is putting, like, their wins against top 25. They're top 25 because the committee and AP are putting these Big 12 teams up there. They shouldn't be up there. Let's be real. Like, there's no way. If you put a Michigan against any of the top 4, like, the top 4 are way different than the next 4, if you want to put it that way. And there's no way. That's why they're saying everyone's talking about Michigan against Clemson. That's 20-point favorite right there. Not a favorite, but they'll win by 20 points. So I mean, I don't believe any of that. Anytime you say, "Oh yeah," but they have 3 more top 25 wins, I'm like, okay.
But like you said, the top 25 teams, some of them shouldn't even be there.
And that was your point about the ACC and Clemson, correct?
Right. And then I think the whole thing with Cincinnati anyway was a sympathy thing because they kept saying, oh, no team outside the Power 5 could ever make it.
That was the narrative, right?
All of that talk, and so you know what they're doing? We put one in, we're done.
Right. And because they got smoked, and now they was like, we gave you your chance, Cinderella, and you couldn't find your slipper. Okay, got it. Now, today, speaking of championship games, the SEC could be decided today as far as the participants. Now, let's start with the biggest game on the docket this season. We got number 1 UT versus number 3 Georgia. In Georgia, Georgia's a 9-point home favorite. Now, Mike, we got the number 1 offense in the country in Tennessee versus the number 2 scoring defense in Georgia. Who do you have more faith in, Tennessee's offense or Georgia's defense?
That Tennessee offense has been, I have more faith in that. They haven't been stopped. I mean, yeah, you've seen Alabama slow them down, but like they still weren't able to stop them. Right. So, man, this is a tough one. 9 points is a lot of points, though.
It is.
So I'm gonna take Tennessee with I don't really see what everyone sees in Georgia besides the defense. So we really are gonna see like a good defense against a good offense and see who wins. I hope Tennessee wins just because I'm always down for the underdog to win. So I'm gonna go for that Tennessee.
Tasha, let me ask you this: you're on the college football committee that chooses the rankings. If Tennessee wins today against Georgia and somehow loses in the SEC championship, do you still put them in the playoff?
They did it to Bama.
Come on, now say it with your chest.
If it's good for the goose, good for the gander.
Right. If it's good for the elephant, it's good for
it's good for Smokey. If it's good for an elephant, it's good for a canine.
It's good for a canine. I love that. 9 points. Are you taking Tennessee in the 9 points?
You see what Nick got down there.
The defense wins championships, and Mike is a defensive guy, but he's even taking the offense in this one.
And what happened to with that Georgia defense? That's what propelled them last year. They lost a lot of talent. All they did was, like I said, Bama Jr. replaced it.
Now, speaking of injuries, their top linebacker is out today for Georgia. Now, I know it's not the same in the NFL when you have somebody you have to pull up off the practice squad. They're going to have another 5-star come in and replace them. But against an offense like UT, I don't know if Georgia can muster up enough points if they can stay on the field long enough to get off 70 or 80 snaps.
Right. What's Georgia's quarterback's name?
They're going to need like 3 turnovers.
Yeah. I know. Like, I'm not, they want to put a little spit shine on the Georgia QB, that his name is always mentioned as being a top caliber quarterback and this and the other thing. But everything in me, I want Tennessee to win so bad because it's just a good thing. But all of my volunteer fans and alumni, remember at one point, Mississippi State was ranked number 1.
Oh, when they went to the Egg Bowl and got clipped up by Mississippi. Okay.
That was Dak's year. Yeah. And what happened after they lost?
Mike, did you know that that's the only school in the history of the college football playoff ranking to debut at number 1 and not make the playoff?
Oh, damn. Sorry, that is a fun fact. Because Dak Prescott, that's why.
No, Ray says Vols defense ain't no bowl of coleslaw either.
Oh no, they got their mayo, their cabbage, and a little seasoning, and they.
You not sold on the Vols defense, Mike?
Heck no, no, absolutely not.
It's not a Georgia defense, but they were slow in that Alabama game.
But that's Alabama. One of those touchdowns was a defensive touchdown.
This is Georgia between the hedges. They're gonna be
they're gonna throw down today between the hedges. I can't.
And it's a night game too.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait. Oh, it's at 3:30.
2:30.
Oh, 3:30. Okay.
2:30 Central Time. Now let's go over to the SEC West, and I know Cooper somewhere gnawing off his nails because he was so upset that he couldn't be on today. He had to work because he wanted to talk these SEC matchups. Well, we got our experts right here. You ain't got to go nowhere. Get your popcorn and get James. Right. Now, on the western side of things, we have Alabama versus LSU. Now, as crazy as this sounds, the winner of this game is probably going to meet the winner of the early matchup in the SEC championship. How the hell LSU is pulling this off is beyond me, but yet they are there. Mike, let me give y'all a nerd stat first. Alabama hadn't lost in Baton Rouge since 2010. What were you doing in 2010, ladies and gentlemen? That was a minute ago.
I think.
Okay. I hope we probably won that weekend too. I digress. Mike, when I looked at the spread on this game, something jumped out at me that I didn't notice before. And it's something I'm going to circle back to that you alluded to in the top of the show. LSU is ranked number 10. How? They have 2 losses, one against an unranked Florida State. How are they ranked number 10, Mike?
Because they need to have a relevant SEC champion. That's why they need to have all their bases covered.
I'm going conspiracy theory, Tasha, and allow me to lay this out. Alabama has nobody left on their schedule worth mentioning. Auburn has fired their coach. They have a losing record. Ole Miss is looked at worse than Michigan as far as national relevancy. They only talk about Lane Kiffin and not the program, so they're kind of spotty. Michigan has a top 10 win. Ohio State has a top 10 win. Oh, look, LSU is magically number 10. Let's give Alabama a top 10 win when we leapfrog them over a one-loss Michigan or a one-loss Ohio State at the end of the year. You're not slick, committee. LSU is not the best team in the damn country. Tasha, your thoughts.
What did I say? And Coop said it. Coop said Bama was going to be in that thing. The committee.
He's on the committee. He's probably somewhere voting right now.
The committee wants Alabama in there. This is the easiest way for them to circumnavigate and have Bama at number 4.
If LSU was the 10th ranked team in the country right now, I have a Jerry curl sitting on the top of my head right now. Come on, man. They lost to a Florida State who's playing Miami today, and nobody cares about that rivalry anymore.
They lost to TAMU, who we know is not what they were supposed to be.
Not even a good TAMU. That's not even a Johnny Manziel TAMU.
They almost got beat by Mississippi State.
Should have gotten beat by Texas because that was in the grasp, and that was a safe.
Watch, they're gonna be higher ranked than Michigan after beating this number 10 ranked team, but we already beat a 10 ranked team in Penn State.
Because again, Mike, you refuse to understand. No one cares about Michigan. You don't want to.
No. You're not making that a soundbite on this show. You're not making that a soundbite.
We care. The people on the committee do not care about Michigan. They care more about having Bama in there, even if it is okay. We're gonna put Michigan down because we really want Bama in there. That's what
it's setting up. For if Michigan or Ohio State loses, whoever loses
Bama
game is going to get leapfrogged by Bama.
And that's what Coop said.
Now let me ask you this, Mike.
Don't be in that top 4.
Let's put the fire to the test. Let's say LSU does win today, but somehow loses to Arkansas and loses their last game, and Alabama still gets in. If Alabama wins the SEC with 2 losses, should they get in? With 2 losses,
should they?
No.
Should they? No. But yeah, the SEC champion will be in there. Like they're not gonna have that.
It's like an annual event to have the SEC champion in the college football.
It's really the college football playoff invitational, really, because you're afforded that slot, and really the Big Ten as well. They're not keeping out of Michigan or Ohio State. When we go to a 12 playoff team. That's how it should be, right? Everyone should be the champion of the Power 5 should be in there, and then everyone else should just play to get in. Does LSU? And I totally agree. This year is the more than any is the year that begs for expansion. And Mike, you have been calling for it for years, but this is the season that we point to that says this has got to stop because there's too much subjectivity involved in this ranking.
I'm gonna give you guys the last 4. UCLA is 12. Ole Miss is 11, LSU is 10, USC is 9, Oregon is 8.
I like USC and Oregon's chances in a one and done versus a Clemson or an LSU or TCU.
I think USC could definitely beat Clemson and LSU. USC could definitely do that. USC could beat TCU.
And TCU, yeah.
So the question begs today, though, is can LSU beat Alabama, Mike? Can they? Or will they?
Can they? Yes, I think so. But the main thing is mental. Like LSU is the team historically to knock Alabama out of that little high horse that they're on. And so they're not afraid of Alabama. They're like, okay, and especially at LSU, man, that's gonna be a tough place to win. However, They got two different talent fields this year, and it's not even equal. So I'm gonna
Right.
go Alabama.
Right.
Natasha, this is one of your skating without a stick specials. LSU has nothing to lose. All they can do is move up with a victory. Could that point any kind of momentum in their favor, or is this an Alabama route tonight?
Alabama is basically skating without a stick.
No, they Nancy Kerrigan. They got ice skates. They got trainers. They got Olympic.
All got it here.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, Lexi says, but a one-loss Bama has continually proven the voters right.
Because
Not last year they didn't.
Bama.
Last year they didn't. They got smoked just like Michigan got smoked by Georgia.
But I think that, like as Mike was saying, it's the talent level and the maturity level, the experience level. LSU doesn't have it, and their coach, I don't think their coach is SEC coach material. He doesn't know how to.
He does the bang bang. He does the.
Right. He doesn't know how to. This is a big game too. I don't think the big games with Chip Kelly in the SEC are different from big games at Notre Dame. And I don't think he can coach the boys to this because they're going to be distracted. Because he's going to say, I want to be Saban. You saw how he got off. He had his ear pods on the bus and got his tunes a bumping. You weren't doing that at Notre Dame. Right. You weren't doing that at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he ain't going to do that at Notre Dame. But okay. All right. So, like I said, it's hard for me to get out of college football with these two, but we will. We will transition to the NFL because Tennessee is in the spotlight on Sunday as well. Now, I remember a few weeks, maybe a little over a month ago, Tennessee had just lost to Buffalo on Monday Night Football in a week where you two told me on this very show, do not watch this game, Paul. It's going to hurt your feelings. You all were right. It did hurt my feelings. We got smoked by Buffalo. We went to 0-2. Who would have thought that 5 weeks later, Tennessee would be 5-2, sitting in the second seed in the AFC, taking on a 5-2 Kansas City team that they've won 5 out of the last 6 against? 5 out of the last 6. That's weird to me. Mike, why do you think Tennessee has had so much success against Kansas City, who was a 12.5-point favorite on Sunday night?
I think it's a different style that they're used to, or Kansas City's used to. They're used to just flying around and hoping that they can just outscore you and get their offense in a rhythm. And Tennessee doesn't allow that. They're more like, okay, well, we're going to take the ball and we're going to hold on to it for a little bit. We're going to go 3rd and inches and then convert and then hold it for another. They're about that 18-play drive life. Right. And when you get that in an offense that is spread and fast, it kind of cools them down a little bit. And I think that's kind of like Kansas City's kryptonite.
Do you think that they could do that again on Sunday night after Kansas City's coming off a bye week? They've had plenty of time to rest up for King Henry and the boys.
I do. Yeah, I think this is going to be a true test to Tennessee to see if they are not just playoff candidate, but an AFC champion candidate.
I totally agree. Tasha, Derrick Henry has rushed for 4 straight 100-yard outings. Last week, he put up 2 bills against a porous 32nd ranked Houston Texans defense. Now, Kansas City is a different beast. They're 3rd against the run, giving up less than 100 yards a game. Let's go over-under, starring T-Sizzle. Are you taking the over or under on Derrick Henry getting 100 yards tomorrow night?
This is the thing. I think Derrick Henry is going to go well above 100 yards. Simply because all that stuff that Mike said, I'm going to sum it up. Tennessee is always able to catch Kansas City slipping.
Oh, really?
That's how Tennessee is able to beat them. They catch them slipping. And what better way for some slippage? Number one, they're coming off a bye week. And number two, Andy Reid's son just got sentenced to 3 years for almost killing that little girl.
He finally got some justice. He finally got some justice in that case.
If you call 3 years justice, he was only facing 7. He got the 3. I'm okay with that, and he better do them. With that being said, if Tennessee catches them slipping, which I think they will, Derrick Henry's going to go well over 100 yards.
I just don't know if that's going to be enough, given the fact of how the passing game has looked without A.J. Brown. When I watch Thursday Night Football and I see A.J. Brown scoring yet another touchdown, he has more receiving yards than the entire receiving corps for Tennessee combined. Yes. And it shows in offense. I just don't know if you can win a 3 yards in the cloud of dust game against this version of Kansas City. However, like Mike said, We're going to hold on to the ball. We're going to try to go for the 3rd and inches. We're going to try to do the 12, 13 play drives, keep Mahomes off the sideline, maybe look into a turnover or two, snatch another possession, let Derek keep eating. But I don't know. I like
you got Malik, what you talking about, Willis in as your quarterback. Not saying that he's –
No, he was awful last week. He was awful.
This is a big game for him.
He was awful last week. We need Ryan Tannehill back under center. Now, Langston said all of the Titans' victories are over teams under 500.
And who did Kansas City beat?
But I'm saying the whole league is under 500. Langston.
The NFL is down.
Who did Kansas City beat?
Already.
Right. The Rams, the 49ers are under 500, and both of those teams still have playoff aspirations. So, like, the schedule in the NFL this year, like Tasha said, it's been down bad. Mike, we're in Vegas. We're at the gate. The lady says, Tennessee, KC, 12.5. Who you placing your money on? Money line.
Oh, 12.5. That's easy Tennessee. Now, I don't know about money line, so I'm going to go Tennessee.
You know what? I got a little ahead of myself because I'm like, I'm doing too much Vegas talk. We'll just go straight up. You taking Tennessee in the 12?
Oh, okay. Now you're speaking the language.
You see his face light up?
I'm going to go Kansas City on this one. They look good against the 49ers. It looks like they're starting to get in the swing of things.
What about you, Tasha? You taking the Titans in the 12, or is this a Kansas City blowout?
I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I'm taking Kansas City simply because you got Malik in, and he hasn't had time to really get in. He was nervous the first game, looked awful. I think he's really going to be nervous against a team like Kansas City.
I think so too. And Sunday Night Football is a different beast than the 3:00 slot where you're hidden behind a bunch of teams and you're on DirecTV Sunday NFL Ticket. Mom says that 22 is going over. I agree. Now, Ray Ladd says Willis ain't ready and Tannehill is questionable. If Willis goes out there and plays, I'm taking Kansas City in the points. Let's move on.
Moving on.
I do what? I do what?
I said I'm taking Kansas City in the
Where
points.
your crown? Where your crown? Where your crown?
I'm gonna just show the tip. We're gonna just put the tip of the crown on today. I'm a little nervous because if Willis gets out there with what you talking about performance from last Sunday, it's gonna be Buffalo Part 2. No way. I don't want no parts of it. Get me out of that. Willis ain't ready. Ray says blowout. I'm going with the King. At least Mom says Titans with the win, barely. There's going to be one or two ways. It's going to be a field goal walk-off for Tennessee, or they're going to lose by 50. I'm nervous. Check on me Monday morning, somebody. Now let's go to a NFC matchup. This one intrigues me. We have the Rams at 3-4 versus the 3-5 Buccaneers. Both teams are struggling. The last time they met was in the NFC divisional round of the playoffs last year. Mike, which one of these two teams do you think has the best chance to get back to the divisional round this year?
I mean, the best chance, I would say the Rams, because look at that division.
Is that shots at the
49ers? For the Buccaneers, it's hard because so my thing is if I thought Tom Brady was going to stay in the Buccaneers, I would say the Buccaneers have the better chance. However, I don't see that dude staying. I think he's going to play another year, probably another 2 years, and I don't think it's going to be with the Buccaneers.
Don't do that, Tom. Just be a bachelor with Gronk and be a TMZ sensation. But no, I think he's done. I think he's over it now. I'm really worried about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
He better be like Cameo. I'm living the single. He better.
That was the jam. But Tasha, who do you think has the best chance to turn their season around and win a playoff game this year? The Rams or the Bucs?
Ooh, the Bucs.
So you still betting on TB12, huh?
I ain't betting on TB12. I just know the Rams. I think the Rams are done.
They have no running game. Matthew Stafford looks more than washed. He's in the spin cycle. His laundry is almost done.
He's like, I got my ring. I'm ready to go on.
And to Tasha's point about something, I want to give her props on. Von Miller, the absence of Von Miller has greatly impacted the Rams defense this year because Aaron Donald is getting double teamed and there's nobody making them pay on the outside. When you double team Aaron Donald last year, Von Miller was going to eat. If you had to help Devon Miller, then you had problems up the middle with Aaron Donald. He's not making the impact that he made last year, and their defense is looking kind of beatable. Now, Ray says we beat them twice already this year. We discussed that. The Rams aren't physical enough. I like Tampa Bay in this one. But Tasha, let me ask you this or that. Cooper Kupp or Torrey Holt?
Are you really seriously asking me that?
Yes. No, this is why I'm asking.
Torrey Holt.
Cooper Kupp, I wanted to ask somebody who knew about Holt in his prime. Cooper Kupp is 3 catches away from becoming the second fastest receiver to 500. That's pretty remarkable when you think of some of the Hall of Fame receivers that's come through the league. Is he still a wide receiver one?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Why not?
No, it's not because it's different. It's different game styles back in the day. You got a whole power offense. That's what everyone was running, power O. They wouldn't throw it 80% of the pass or the game. Like nowadays, you got a spread offense that they're passing all the time.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it's just, you got that spread. That yeah.
No, wait a minute. We got breaking news. Kupp is out. Does the Rams have no shot now?
They definitely don't have a shot. They shouldn't have had him in anyway at trash time. But I mean,
yeah,
that is correct.
Well, let me take that back.
That's correct, though.
But you know, most times, if they feel like, hey, we lost, you need to keep your ass out there because you know we played a terrible game. I get that. But when you look at a player of that caliber, he's pretty much all of your offense right now, you should have had him out.
Yeah. You get hurt on the last play of a game that you had no chance of winning. Now, Mike, who's been the most disappointing team in the NFL to you thus far, based on where you had them in your preseason projections? He is over here.
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
That's mine. Go ahead and speak for me, bro. That's mine too.
I was just gonna say everyone had them. You know, they're kind of on the way up. They had everything going for them, and now they're 2-5 and getting shut out by the Saints.
The Saints, the Aints, the brown paper bag Saints shut you out. Devontae Adams was supposed to take you from a playoff team to a real contender in a weak AFC this year. There's only one elite team, and that's Buffalo. I mean, come on, Vegas. Well, they said it's the QB, it's Carr. Tasha, do you agree? Is it Vegas or you have another team that you're most disappointed in?
Man, look, they go out here, they get Devontae Adams. Your core, you know, he wants to play with his college roommate, with his best bud. Because I picked them. I think I did pick them to win the AFC West. They are terrible. I do agree with Mike. I'm very, very disappointed. Because you go out, you do everything you need to do to get the one piece that you think is going to make you win, and you are very much irrelevant.
And you're picking up, and not just any piece, you're picking up somebody who was arguably considered one of the best all-around receivers in the whole league. You add him to a team that had a Pro Bowl tight end, a Josh Jacobs who's healthy and running the ball. You got Max Crosby, who's an all-pro defensive end, and a quarterback that should be capable. Raiders, if I'm the GM there, I'm whooping ass in the locker room after the game. Like, all of y'all ain't flying back from New Orleans.
They're like, we're getting Tom Brady.
Right, they're about to get Tom Brady. All right, now let's go to our survivor picks. Tasha still holds the crown, but everybody's still in it this week. Now Coop, in true Michigan Mike fashion, said, hold up, I want my pick on wax. He's taking the Minnesota Vikings this week to survive to next week. Mike, who's your survivor pick this week?
Oh, okay. If I'm picking first, I'm going with the Bills then.
The Bills over the Jets. You be careful with those sneaky Jets now. They're sneaky good, although they don't have Breece Hall anymore. Champion T-Sizzle. Who you going with?
I was looking at the Vikings and the Commanders, but this is a game that Minnesota would lose, so I chose not to pick them. So then my second one was the Bills and the Jets. So yeah, me and Mike are going to lock that one up.
All right. So 2 for the Bills. I'm going to stay in the AFC East, and I'm going to go with the New England Patriots over a Jonathan Taylor-less Indianapolis Colts team. that has gone all the way dumpster fire. We shall see. Now, Mike, you all snazzy and dressed up, suited and booted. Who you shouting out this week?
I'm gonna shout out to my wonderful wife again. She's over here planning. Actually, the grandmas too, helping us plan this baby shower. And everyone helping out. We'll be doing that here after the show.
All right, Tasha T. Sizzle, who you shouting out today?
Every week I have like a shout out ready, but then we get on here and start all this damn nonsense and I forget. So again, I don't have a shout out this week.
Well, we're going to shout out the bleach that you used to clean that van this morning. So we're going to shout out to Formula 4.
Oh,
yes, let me get that shout out to my lovely neighbors, Marino y Albania.
Damn.
Yes.
Damn, Marino?
No. He's Marino Jr. at that. What I do here, you all know I love dogs. So I take care of 2 stray dogs and they live on my front porch. So they go to get their stuff for their parasites and ticks and fleas and all of that. So Marino stole his father's van. And all of us went and we had 5 dogs in a car in a van to go and get the dogs their medicine. So shouts out to my lovely neighbors, Marino y Albania.
Right on. I want to give a shout out to the Princess baby household that's going to make her way here in January. Looking forward to that. Hope that the lovely wife Stacy is showered with love and attention and everything that goes on for an expecting mother's big day. So shouts out to Miss Stacy for that. I also want to send a shout out to my cousin Angelo Tate, who is jumping the broom today. He is getting married. That is, man, I remember the day he was born. So this is an awesome day for our family. I wish I could be there in person, but sending all the love and throwing rice from North Dallas all the way back to Nashville, Tennessee. Get your groove on, Angelo, tonight. Make it last forever. Wishing y'all a great wedding and an even better honeymoon so that one day you two can be having a baby shower like the Hot. So shout out to the 49ers. Shout out to the Michigan Wolverines who are going to win by 50 tonight. Make sure y'all check that out on Big Ten Network. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Someone's going to pay.
Somebody's going to pay. We got stuff to get ready for today. Tasha's about to jump in the shower. Mike's about to go to a baby shower. I'm about to do something, probably a combination of the two. So until then, you know how we get down. We'll see you in 6 days and 23 hours. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Don't let our love in.
Don't let it in. Oh!